because we didn't want to like show the hand of like, that this is a disaster. I don't know. It was sort of it was a fine line we had to walk on that movie, because it's a guy who is trying as hard as all of us. I mean, that's the thing I was so attracted to, is that even though the movie he makes is so ridiculous, and it's a real movie, The Room, he underneath is the same as you and me. That, the young Dustin in New York struggling for what, 10 years? I mean, you did graduate when you were 30?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? That's a long time
Yes.
to struggle
Yes.
to get your break. I was on a TV show and I was like, no, I interviewed J.J. Abrams. He has he's a little talking head at the beginning of my movie, right? And I was like, what's your Hollywood struggle story? And he's like, well, I always feel bad when I say it because I sold my script, when I was still in college. And then I came out here and I worked. And I'm thinking, I'm interviewing, I'm like, you jerk, like you had it so easy. And then I realized, oh yeah, I was on Freaks and Geeks, like with Judd Apatow when I was like 20.
Right.
But
How did you get it?
I just auditioned.
Did you improvise?
Yeah. I mean, they were so smart on that show because they had a script and it was an awesome script. But when they were just looking for kids that they wanted to work with. And then they just wrote to our personalities. Like the guy in the script that I eventually played was described as like a Latino with Peter Frampton hair. And like, I wasn't that guy, they just liked me. And so they wrote to me. And that's how they got such great personal kind of performances on that show.
But usually, if you're an actor, you wait tables for 10 years. That's typical.
I know. I worked at McDonald's.
You did?
Yeah. I couldn't get a waiting job. I went to UCLA.
I looked at your thing, and you've had an education. You went like 5, 6 colleges.
Later.
Oh.
I dropped out of UCLA. My
Right.
parents said, so this is interesting. You said when Jake
My son.
wanted to be an actor, you're like, of course I got to support him. What else am I going to do?
Yeah.
When I dropped out of UCLA, my parents, who were very loving parents, very smart, educated, they met at Stanford. They, I don't know, it seemed like they were very disappointed. They're like, well, my dad actually said, you're being a fool, like for dropping out of UCLA and going to work at McDonald's.
What did he want you to do?
Well, if he could have had anything, I would have been a mathematician, which was like he tutored me in math, and then it sort of blew up in his face because I was in all the top classes in high school, and then I did a sort of placement exam for college, and I tested out of having to ever take another math class again. So I never did. So
But you're not going to make a lot of money being a mathematician, right?
Probably, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Did that make you dissuade you from being a mathematician? You didn't.
No, it wasn't even about the money. It was just like I love literature. I love acting. I love movies. I love all that. Like, just not where my heart was in math. But anyway, I worked at McDonald's, but I worked there for like 2-3 months. But I practiced accents there, and all the accents were really bad. They were horrible. I can't believe I fooled people. But there was one that I did. The Brooklynese one that was the longest lasting. Like, I took a girl out on a date and kept the whole thing up, and we went to see Titanic, and I was like, hey, that's great, that Leo guy, he's awesome. And then I had to break it to her. She would call the house, and I wouldn't answer in the accent. She'd be like, James? I was, hey, what's going on? And then I had to break it to her, that I wasn't from Brooklyn, and she looked at me like I was a stranger,